A mother's love is like a circle. It has no beginning and no ending. It keeps going around and around, ever expanding, touching everyone who comes in contact with it, engulfing them like the morning's beast, warming them like the noontime sun, and covering them like a blanket of evening stars. A mother's love is like a circle. It has no beginning and no ending. A mother is she who can take the place of all others, but whose place no one can take. Hi, guys, welcome to today's podcast. How are you? How have you been doing? What's up? What's popping? What's good? As I record this, it's the 10th of April. This is the day that I became a mom to a beautiful 8-year-old girl called Nema. Nema, for those of you who are listening and don't know Swahili, is the Swahili word for grace. And I chose this particular name because I knew motherhood for me was going to require a lot of grace. I was going to need a lot of guidance, but mostly a lot of grace, and more so from God. And that has literally been the theme of my entire life and that of my daughter's life. Of course, it's been 8 years of her growing and 8 years of me growing as well. Because when she was born, her mother was also born. And she has taught me so much about myself. She has taught me the concept of wanting to constantly level up. She has taught me that she sees no flaws in my eyes. And what she sees is a babe who can always get it done. Like, I want this, mom will get it done. She says my mom is pretty. My mom always looks good. Mommy, people in school say you're pretty, you dress well, you look nice. And she tells me every time I transition into a new job, she's like, Mommy, even me I want to be this, even me I want to be that, even me when I grow up I want to be this. And I can see in so many ways that in as much as I normally constantly beat myself up and feel like I have to do more, I have to do more, I have to do more, she just looks at me and says, you know what, my mom is killing it. And that, hey, that unlocked a new level of love for me. And so, I'm just out here celebrating, feeling super grateful, feeling super happy and proud of myself, but also proud of her as well. She is the most funny person I know. My daughter is funny. She has a big laugh. She has a big personality. She's those people who, if she's somewhere, it doesn't matter. It's on the road, it's in the supermarket, it's in a car, she's going somewhere, and she hears a song that she likes, she'll start dancing out of nowhere. She is always so willing to say hi to people. She's always hugging. Like, if she likes you, she sees you one time, second time, she's always reaching out for an embrace. She's larger than life. And my only prayer for her is that she will have so many blessings and favor come her way, and that life doesn't dim her light. She's awesome. She's awesome. So happy birthday to you, baby Nema. If you ever hear this, mommy loves you to the moon and back. And I guess from the quote that I started the podcast with, you can kind of preempt what it is that we're talking about today. I want to talk about motherhood. I want to talk about it from a different perspective. I know oftentimes I share a lot about my motherhood journey, how it's changed me, how the beginning was. Sometimes I take the journey back from the beginning and I bring it all the way to now and how we are. But today I want to nishaanza kungoa. Javeri, 3 minutes into it, nishaanza. But there's this Kisii accent of developing. I don't know where it's coming from. But it needs to go. It needs to go. It's detrimental to the brand. We just hatuwezi kuwa tunakuja tu hapa na tunangoa. Yes. So, and to talk about motherhood, but I want to put a twist, right? I want to talk about my relationship with my mom. Now, let me give you a bit of a backstory. December last year, I was to take my daughter home to hang out with my mom, which is now like a tradition that we're building. And of course, true to the arrangements that we had, she closed school, the nanny left, and it was like now me to plan a trip to go home, to drop her off, and then come back, continue with work, then plan to go home over Christmas. Now, I don't know about you, and I think I spoke about it here, or perhaps I spoke about it on Instagram. Another reason for you to follow me on Instagram, Walking with Wanzuu podcast. And I was just saying that around the festive season, around Christmas, I get really anxious. I just feel like I want to be alone. I'm not trying to be out because everyone is just going out. Everyone is in the malls. Everyone is going for swimming. Everyone is doing I don't know what. I don't know what. And for me, I always just want to be like inside at home, maybe just binge on some food, just vibe, and then perhaps go out when it's like New Year's or something. And even on that New Year's day, like I struggle a lot with festive seasons. I don't know why. For some reason, I just get super anxious. I feel like everybody's just trying to do the most, and I just want to chill. I just want to relax. And last year was no different, especially given the fact that last year had gone through a really like there were some experiences that really that really kicked my butt. And so coming towards the end of the year was my time to just dial down and just unwind and relax and kind of recalibrate and try and just channel better energy into 2024, which was a new year, right, at that time. So the weeks go by, and of course, as I'm making phone calls, just to check in, see, say hi, see how they're doing, and the questions has to pop up. So when are you coming? When are you coming? When are you coming? We're really looking forward to having you home for Christmas. That's my mom saying this now. And as the days grow closer, of course, I'm just answering with a lot of ambiguity. I'm like, oh, I haven't talked to my boss about it. Let me see when we close work, and then I plan to travel. I don't know what. And then so now it's a day to Christmas Day. I think it was like 2 days to Christmas Day, and now that a mom is telling me, so when are you traveling? Yo, because now it's almost Christmas, and you said you'll come home for Christmas. Your daughter is here, and I just tell her, mommy, you know what? I don't feel I want like I have energy to come home for Christmas. However, my Christmas leave I have extended it to the 27th. So from the 27th, I'll come home and spend time well into New Year's, and then I can make arrangements to come back home with the baby. And she just goes off. She goes off. She's like, no, 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 no. You always do this. I don't understand why you want to spend Christmas alone. Christmas is a time for people to be with family. Now my greatest fears are confirmed. Now I start feeling that anxiety for, oh my God, they want to drag me into their festiveness. Like, I don't want, I'm just trying to chill. I'm just trying to chill. I'm not trying to do the most. And she goes off, and she was livid. She was mad. And so we really got into it. We really got into it. It was bad. She was like, okay, fine. Because at this point, now I feel like you don't even want to spend time with family. You're just trying to turn me into a babysitter. Then come get your baby. Like if you're not trying to spend Christmas with me, then I'm also not trying to do favors for you. So come get your child. And I said, you know what? I think I'll do that. Because now at this point, even I'm feeling so I didn't know quite clearly how to articulate my feelings at the time. So of course I retaliate as well, and I'm like, yeah, 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 okay, fine. If you don't want to like wait for me to come home on the 27th, then I guess I'll just come get my daughter and come back home. And guys, imagine that's what I did. I traveled home. I think I was so mad that night I didn't sleep. So I went home on the 24th. I think it was the 25th. Now I can't remember. Sometimes when a memory is very painful for me, I tend to block out certain details. So I'm not certain. I don't remember if it was the 24th or the 25th, but I remember traveling home at 5 a.m. I just wasn't able to have access to like a personal ride. Otherwise I would have woken up even as early as 3:30 just to go down there. And I remember going, and I didn't even stay for long. Like I said, hi. Of course, she made me something nice to eat. And my mom and I have always had this thing where even if we have a huge fallout, we'll find a way to like come back and reconcile, or come back and just try and figure out. So what was the frustration? Even if a conversation is not had, we always find a way to come to some sort of resolve. But this time around, I was so done, and so I went. I said hi, and then I just started packing my daughter's clothes. And I said, "Thank you, mommy. I really appreciate you. Thank you for looking after her for the better part of the month. I guess we're just going to go home now and spend Christmas in Nairobi. But I just want to let you know that I'm grateful, and I say thank you." And instantly I saw her turn, because I felt like maybe she felt that I was going to like change my mind and choose to stay, but I didn't. She asked me, do you have enough bus fare? Are you guys okay? And I just remember being taken aback and thinking, oh my God, you must be so hurt also by the fact that I don't want to spend Christmas at home, but still you're looking out for me. Despite my stubbornness, you're still looking out for me. You're asking, am I going to get there safe? Do I have the resources? Am I okay? And I said, yeah, I'm good. And I came home for Christmas. And, we just spent the entire Christmas day at home, just watching movies, just chilling, just vibing with my daughter. And then later on the 27th, is when we left home, when the festivities had died down a bit. And I took her for swimming, and we did lunch. And we just, we just had a nice day out and had fun and vibes and all of that. And of course, even getting into the new year, I was still mad because for me, what I took from that experience is, why are you trying to control me? Why do you want to dictate how I want to do things? You don't know why I needed that extra time to be alone. Because for me, I felt like, okay, now we are closed. Like, I don't have to wake up and go to work. I can just sit, I can relax, I can process my feelings. And then when I go home, I'll have enough emotional capacity to like deal with everyone, friends, family, and all of that. And I think she just couldn't understand where I'm coming from. It's like at that point, it was like, but home is your safe space, but this is where you should be. And so I started to think about why it is that I was so hesitant to go home and why it was such a difficult thing for me. And then I started to go back and realize that towards the end of just when I was mid into high school, we relocated into another county. That's where my family home is. And that transition was rough because during that time I was transitioning into a whole different county, people speaking a whole different language which I didn't know. Our lifestyle had changed significantly, and there was a lot of adjusting to do. But one thing about me is, like, I get on with it. I don't have time to weigh. If there's something needs to be done, I'll get on with it, and then I'll process my feelings later. And then, unfortunately, as I had just transitioned, first of all, I was taken into a mixed school, and that information wasn't relayed to me when we were looking for the school. I literally found out when I had gone to get my letter, um, that like acknowledgement letter or something that allows you to come into the school. And I remember just being so livid because I've always felt more comfortable in spaces that have predominantly women. That's just a preference for me. And so, just not only going into a different school and into a different county, now I had to deal with boys too. Man, I was really struggling. But you know what I told myself? Eliminating ignorance is the goal. That's the enemy. Me, I just want to get my education, keep it pushing. So I had a lot of transitioning to do. And then during that particular time, just when I had settled in, my mom got really, really sick. And because it's always just with me and her, I had to be her primary caregiver. That meant taking a bit of time away from school and taking care of her. And like during that particular season, so many challenges were thrown our way. And I had to kind of assume roles that I ordinarily wouldn't have to, and I had to grow up really quick and just really get on with the program, right? But at the same time, remember that I'm still a child. And I still need to be in school, still need to get good grades. But at the same time, there's certain roles and responsibilities at home that because of the way things were and because of certain circumstances, I had to assume. So generally, I had to grow up really fast. And perhaps over time, when I feel more comfortable, I'll share. Generally, throughout my life, I've been prompted to have to grow up really fast, right? Whether it's having to take care of myself, whether it's having to assume certain roles and responsibilities, make certain decisions. The trajectory of the way my life has been leading up to me being actually now a full grown adult is I had to grow up really fast. And that reflected in how it is that I view things, how it is that I make my choices, my decisions. Like I ordinarily would seem and come off more mature than I actually was. I had people when I was in my teens, even like mid teens, who thought I was in my early 20s just because of how I carried myself, but also because of how I moved around life and because of how I assumed different roles and responsibilities. And it hit me at that particular point that home for me, going back home for me, was not joy. It was not all joy. It was just a reminder of the struggle and the pain and the strife that I had been through during that time. And so going back felt like I was going back to all of that. And I didn't want to. So going back felt like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I mean, it's like I'm reliving it. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit emotional. But going back, um, in that moment, it felt like I was reliving everything that I had gone through and I didn't want to. And so being far away from home as possible was a nice and welcome escape for me. It meant that I didn't have to remember. Um, I didn't have to remember the struggle as much, but it also meant that I didn't have to go back there. And so just working hard and striving and doing everything and making milestones in my life was me running away from that experience. It wasn't even me trying to level up. And it's only until very recently, as recent up to like 3 years ago, is when I've started working towards my goal because I genuinely want to level up and live a good life, not because I'm running away from those experiences. So I remember even mid argument just bursting out and telling mom, I don't know why you're always trying to get me to come back home. There's nothing good about that I remember about home. All I remember is the challenges and the struggle, and I don't want to be in a space where is a reminder of all of that. And then something just one day as I was sitting and just, you know, thinking about the whole situation and how I need to fix it. Something like a still small voice whispered to me and told me, but how will you get over it if you're not keen on making new memories? And that, I don't know why I thought of it. Maybe that was God speaking to me, but that instantly changed my headspace. I was like, okay, so you're complaining about all these bad memories and all these bad experiences, and my feelings are valid, and whatever it is, the effect they had on me are valid. But how long is that going to be the narrative? How long is that going to be the story? And how long is that going to be the excuse of why you don't want to go back home? So i I purposed in my heart to want to go back home and create new and better memories, not only for myself, but for my daughter and for her daughter and for her children's children. Because if I'm not keen on changing the story, then I'll carry that on. And I don't want that for myself. So I just remember thinking, I need to make plans. The next holiday I get, if it's a long holiday, it's like a 3 day holiday, a 4 day holiday, I'm going home. And I'm going to make up for that nonsense that I did in Christmas. And then I went home. And I remember calling my mom like a joke and telling her, Mom, I'm coming home for Easter. And I went home. And my mom was so happy, guys. She was so excited. She couldn't wait for us to drive all the way home. She came to pick us up at the shopping center. And we all, we did a bit of shopping, and we all went home together. And she had made for us some chicken. She had marinated it, and she told me, I know you love to cook your own food. There's the kitchen. I marinated the chicken for you. Just go in, do your thing. And I made a nice hearty meal, and we caught up on all the village gossip, all the latest village gossip. To discuss kila mtu, tulisengenya kila mtu one by one, them, their husbands, and even their pets. And then we just had a good time, and I was home for a couple of days, and I have never felt so happy, so loved, and she was more than happy to have my daughter for the April holidays. And I remember coming back home because I had to get back to work and feeling light, feeling happy, feeling blessed, and feeling grateful. And what did I take out of that experience? First of all, I learned that creating boundaries is rarely a beautiful experience. It's actually a very hard experience. And me putting my foot down and saying, I'm not ready to come and I don't think I'm going to do it, was being stubborn in a way, but that was also me creating a boundary of, I'm past that phase where you can, blackmail me or control me or make me do whatever you want, but just because that's what you want me to do. And that boundary was created between me and my mom. But also the other lesson that I learned was mom really just wanted to spend time with me, and not only me, but my daughter. I mean, because it's always just been me and my mom, and now it's me, my mom, and my daughter. We are all she's got. We are all she's got. And despite everything else that had happened, life has constantly shown me that tomorrow is not guaranteed. And all we have is the gift of now. And so this is her making an effort to want to spend time with us, to want to share her home with us, to want to share her space with us, to want to share her blessings with us. And because I had allowed pain and fear and hurt to control me, I almost missed out on that. And I'm so grateful that I was able to tuck in my pride. I was able to tuck in my pain, pray about it, marinate on it, and then take the bold step of reaching out. And one thing about, we laugh about this all the time, the way our African mothers have so much sarcasm and are always so rough, but really they just mean well and they just have so much love on beneath, like underneath the surface of all that tough love. They have so much love to give. And so for her, all she was trying to do is spend time with us and be with us, but she just quite didn't know how to articulate it or say it or go about it. But I was able to sit down with myself and just kind of, just share and try and understand where she was coming from and then meet her halfway or even more than halfway. And I'm learning, even in my motherhood journey and my parenting journey and my adulting journey, that as I get older, I am definitely more forgiving, more understanding, and I have more respect for my mom. And even because it takes a village for the people around me who've raised me, who are now older, like who are now my daughter's aunties and uncles and also grandparents. Because if they had to deal with everything that we deal with now in adulting and still show up for us the way they did, and we turned out this good, hey, please, those people did something right. They did something right. In fact, they killed it. And I want to speak to you and I want to tell you, because we don't talk enough about our difficult relationships with our mothers. We don't talk enough about mother wounds. We don't talk enough about the times when we felt so mad at our parents and just, you know, chose to deal with it by staying away. And I want to tell you, please don't ever find yourself at a point where you're regretting that you should have reached out, that you should have tried to find a way to make things better. And there are some relationships that you completely cannot salvage. Don't get me wrong. There are some parents who unfortunately can be incredibly toxic and just, it's like their sole purpose is just to give you pain. And for such cases, perhaps, which are most of the time, more often than not, rare, for such cases, it's always best to just stay away and just love them from a distance. But in cases where you see that you can come to some kind of resolve, please come to some kind of resolve. Life is too hard to go through it alone. There is a reason why you can choose your job, you can choose your life partner, you can choose your friends, but you don't get to choose family, because that's a gift from God. And I don't know where you're listening to this from. It could be in your car, it could be at home, you could be, I don't know, going somewhere, you could be going on your morning walk, maybe you're just winding down to go to bed. I want to urge you to reach out to your moms and celebrate your moms. Love on them. Extend as much grace as you can to them, because they are doing the best that they can with what they have. And because life is a cycle and we're all on our way to the other side of the journey, don't let them get to the other side without them knowing how you truly feel, which is that you love them and you appreciate them and you celebrate them for everything that they've done for you. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I'm sorry I was so emotional. I'm so glad that I'm finally able to speak about these things, because we are healing. If there's something we're doing, we are healing and we are having honest and raw conversations. And I'm so happy that I get to bring these conversations up and share from my own personal experience and share from my own personal healing. Thank you so much for being part of today's episode. I hope you learned something from this story. I hope you got something. And if not for me, just for your mom, send her a message, tell her you love her, tell her you appreciate her. And hata kama your pocket is heavy, so you send her a little M-Pesa or Zelle or Sendwave or whatever it is that you do from your end, and just appreciate her. Like I said, motherhood is a gift and is a journey and it's special. And where would we be without our moms? Sending you so much love and light and hugs. I will see you on the next episode. Have a good one and God bless. Bye.